Has there ever been an addiction to something you experienced in your life that you were able to successfully quit and overcome?
Probably, if I had to say one, it was probably weed, smoking weed. It's probably one of the ones. It's one of my hardest things to shake. Just because, that's how I started as a kid. I was young, and it took some years to really shake it. But shit, nah, I ain't smoked a blunt in 4 years. I don't think I ever smoke again.
Is this something you've actually gone public about quitting, or has this been kept private?
I ain't never really talked about it, but everybody that know me know I don't smoke no more, and they know I used to have it bad. I had it bad, better than worse.
You would consider it an addiction?
I do consider it addiction. I was addicted. I used to want to stop smoking and just couldn't stop smoking. It was an addiction for me.
How long do you think you were actually addicted to it for? Is there a rough estimate on that?
10 years.
And do you remember how it started?
As a kid, just smoking, hanging out with my friends, smoking, and then, you're doing it every day. Now the next thing you know, now you're selling it. Now it's all around you all the time. Now that's when it gets bad. Now that's when you smoking sun up to sun down. You got an abundance of weed.
Do you remember what age this took place in your life? When you started?
When I started to smoke every day, I was probably about 16. Probably first time I hit a blunt, I was probably about 14. About 16 is where I really I'm smoking every day. And it got bad probably when I moved down my people crib. At 18, it was probably bad even when I was in the school, but when it got really bad, it's probably 18, 19 when you starting to live and you starting to get your own money, you starting to make money off of it, that's when it starts to really get real bad to the where I'm not doing, it feel like I ain't doing nothing but smoking and selling weed all day.
Sounds like it also began as recreational purposes for you, not something medical.
Yeah, it begins, it's just, I guess we just wanted to be back, we wanted to be like the rappers, we kids, we want to be cool, that's how it start.
Based on your description, would you say this was an addiction that happened right away, or it took some time to progress into one?
I'm gonna say it took some time to progress into one. I can remember a time period in my life where we wasn't even smoking just gas. The weed really wasn't even that good. It really, thinking back, shit didn't even taste good. It starts off as just a record. It's just something fun to do with your friends. Like, it starts off as it's just something fun to do to pass time. And then it just turns into a whole nother monster.
At what point did you realize this was an addiction, though?
When I would be like, you know what, I gotta stop this shit. When I start smoking up all my weed, start smoking up all the weed, and it's like, okay, you tripping. But nah, it becomes an addiction when it's like, I'm telling myself, okay, I gotta slow down, I gotta stop, I'm smoking and I'm not doing it. Cause me, I used to get a little tired. I guess, you smoke a few blunts, now you're kind of tired. You ain't doing nothing else no more. It comes to a point in time where you're not doing nothing else. It consumes your whole life. So if you want to be, for me, if I wanted to be productive in life, like if I wanted to get to where I am now, I had to put this shit down.
And was this a realization you make on your own, or would anyone around you key in on this as well and say, hey, this is...
No, everybody else around me never stopped. Everybody else around me smokes all day. It's just me. And then I started to get this feeling where it's like, I'm relying on this shit. Like, it's like I'm relying on this. It's like, people, like, especially when you're in that creative space, you start becoming a creator. A lot of us be like, I need that weed. Like, it started to be like, is this a crutch? Am I weak? Am I weak? And, I don't want to be feeling like, I'm the type of person, I don't want to feel like I need anything. So it's like I had to prove to myself. I had to just, like, and I remember, like, once I went a week without smoking, Like, I knew right then. I said, once I finally could go a week without it, I was like, I knew that first week. I was telling my niggas then. Like, I was like, you know what, I'm never gonna, I feel like I'm never gonna hit a blunt again. I ain't smoked since.
Ever consumed a fake version of marijuana?
I did. That shit fucked me up.
Care to shed some light on that?
That K2, man. When that shit was first coming out, that K2 took some of my partners out. That's one thing. That K2 is not something to play with. Like, I know I got a few really close friends that really will never be the same. Lost their mind smoking that K2. But shit, I remember one time, you know, when it first came out, we didn't realize how bad it was. You know, kids were smoking, they had K2 in the gas stations, you know, when it was first coming out. So everybody, you know, that was like, shit, you know, I could pass this, I could smoke this and still, like, you know, my niggas on papers and shit, I could smoke this past my piss test. And so, you know, I'm young, I'm 17, 18, and you know, it's like, look, you know, when you young, you know, it's a little half a blunt sitting on the counter. I'm going around, pick it up, fire it up, you know, even if it ain't my blunt, because, you know, I'm just wet. You know, I trust it. And, you know, I trust the people that's around me, you know, that's in the house. You know, ain't no late shit. And so I remember picking up a K2 blunt one time and lighting that shit up. And I just, like, instantly started seeing black dots. Then I had to kind of fall back into the wall, and then I threw up. Like, it was OD. It was like, that's when I realized, like, that shit there ain't nothing to play with.
Did you know that was K2 at that particular time, or you had no idea?
I did. No, I knew it was K2 when I hit it because it was just a different, it was instantly, like, it hits you instantly. Like, it instantly is just not, this is not weed. And shit, I just knew niggas was smoking K2. It was around that time where, you know, this niggas was smoking that shit. And so I remember one of our close partners, he had this big K2 shop in the H. Rest in peace, Dirty. He had this big shop in the H, and so my partners, we would be working the shop sometime. And so it would be around pounds and pounds of the shit. And so, you know, I just knew it was K2. I knew what it was. I remember niggas would be like, hey, I get $100 to hit this blunt. I wouldn't hit it. I would always be like, that shit fake. I ain't hitting this shit. But shit, that one time, it's just that accidental hit, and now I realize that's why I ain't hitting that shit.
Are you able to describe any more of the difference when you actually smoke that K2 versus marijuana you have had in the past? Just in case somebody watching this may know what to key in on.
Smoking weed, now I ain't smoked in 4 years, but when you smoking weed, it's just like a chill, you know. It's not like nothing, it's just boom. When you hit that K2 blunt, once you pull that shit in, that shit hits you. Like, it's like a boom, or like a whoa, what's going on type thing. Like, it's like, that shit just punch you. I think you ain't even supposed to smoke that shit like weed. You ain't supposed to be doing it like that. But shit, when you ain't, I'm thinking it's a regular blunt. I hit that shit with the strength of 1,000 men. That shit took me off my feet, for real.
And that was just a one-time thing for you?
One-time thing. I ain't fuck with that shit.
When you described that it took some of your partners out,
yeah.
Shed any more light on that?
Man, you know that K2 had you running up the street ass naked. That K2 will fuck you up. That K2 will fuck you up. Have your ass in that mental ward, for real. Like, that K2, niggas smoke that K2, they fighting the police. You know, that K2 will get you killed. So that shit like PCP or something.
Did that actually lead to any of your people's deaths?
You know, it didn't lead to people's deaths, but I know it ain't lead to none of my close partners' deaths, but it lost to some of my close partners losing their minds. And I know people that it led to their death too.
Reflecting back, when it came to your marijuana addiction, what do you think the scariest moment was when you used that drug?
It never got to the point where it was scary. And I never get to the point where it got scary for me. But it was just a kind of a personal competition, inner thing. Like, you know, like I don't want to be smart. I don't want to be out all the time. It's like for me, you know, if if I smoke, it got to the point to where if I smoke one blunt, I want 100 blunts. You know, so I have an addictive personality, so I gotta watch what I indulge in.
Was there a bottom point for you when it came to the marijuana addiction?
Smoking up all my rent money. Nah, but, you know, I mean, I guess if it's a bottom point is when you let it start to fuck with the finances. You know, if it's a bottom point. But shit, you know, it always worked itself out. It ain't never get too bad for me.
But were you joking there, or did you actually smoke up your rent money on one occasion?
2 or 3 occasions. Shit, there's a few occasions where a nigga just had to go. We had to go spin the block a couple times, make sure we got this bag right.
You may have mentioned this in the interview already, but asking just in case you didn't, what was your reason for quitting?
My reason for quitting was knowing that I needed to be productive, and I couldn't, like, for me, the effect it had, because, you know, for everybody, you got a different effect. The effect it had on me is that I had a hard time being productive high. Like, I have a hard time. Nigga get high. You get too high, and it's almost like, am I even breathing right? Like, am I dying? Like, you get to that point where, shit, god damn, my heartbeat feel irregular. Like, get me to the ER. You know?
Was money or finance a factor by any chance into quitting?
You know, it might have been not necessarily because the reason for quitting was for sure just me needing to be productive, because I was getting good money around that time too, but for me but for sure weed, like hindsight, I spent a lot of money on weed. I smoked a lot of money away for sure. For sure. I smoked a lot of money, hindsight, for sure. That shit. Now, you know how you asked me earlier, is there something that you wasted money on, that you be like, that was a waste of money? That's the real answer right there. Like, weed, it's a waste of money.
And you're referring to our money management segment.
Money management segment. Yeah, I done smoked a ticket. Oh, man, for what?
Do you actually know or a roundabout figure on how much you probably smoked away?
I can't imagine, but I mean, you know, I really can't even. It's hard to think about, but shit, you know, you smoke about 6 blunts a day. You know, back in the day, that probably equaled up to about $60. And so, and I'm smoking for 10 years, you know, $60, $60, let's say it's $300 a day. I mean, 300 days out of the year, you smoking $60. That's $18,000 right there. Now you doing that for 10 years, then shit, we ain't even added 65 days to the 300 days. So damn, we done smoked $250,000. We done smoked up $250,000 before we was getting real money.
Was a relationship with a significant other a factor by any chance into quitting?
Nah, because all my girl, you know, everybody else around me is smoking. Everybody else around me, even to this day, you know, I'm the only person that really be around me that just don't smoke. Yeah. And that actually is, I say, was a part of what made it so difficult to quit too, is on top of the fact that there's an abundance of weed around you, everybody around you is smoking. So that makes it difficult to really quit when everybody's around you smoking. Like, you know, even when I was first quitting, you know, the day I quit, the next day, it's probably 10 blunts in my presence. People reaching, passing it to me. You know, it take a lot in you when you've been smoking since you was a kid to be like, I'm good on it. That takes some manpower.
And how were you able to quit this? What was the ultimate secret?
Just standing on just standing on it. Just shit, you know, I'm done with it. I got fucking around, got dumb high the day before, and was just like, I need to let this shit go.
So this was a flip of a light switch for you?
For sure, flip of a light switch. The day I stopped was the day I stopped. Before that, I probably smoked every day for forever. The day I stopped, it was done.
Your first attempt at quitting and your only attempt at quitting.
Yeah. Nah. I ain't gonna say it's my only attempt at quitting. I've had a million days where I said I'm not gonna smoke no more and smoke the next day.
What made it work this time compared to the other times you attempted to quit?
I don't know. Maybe I think what made it is just that day at a time. You know, actually going that whole day without smoking. I think after that first day I didn't smoke, I think I felt clean. Like my body felt clean, I feel like, to me. Or maybe, and it might have just been all in my head. You know, that second day I felt even cleaner. So it's like, after you can go, if I can go, I was telling myself, I remember at the time, like, shit, if I can go one day, I can go 10 days. If I can go 10 days, shit, I could go forever.
Do you have a roundabout number on how many times you attempted to quit before the final?
Yeah, a couple times a month. Every time you smoke that one, you when you're a smoker, you get to that one point where you just smoke one too many blunts. You hit that one blunt, you smoke that one blunt, and it's just like, you just done, you're toast. And probably every time I smoked that blunt, I was like, it's the same with drinking. You know, you get drunk, your stomach start hurting, you tell yourself, I'm never doing this again. You probably tell yourself that. A person probably tells himself that at least once a month. At least. But, you know, a lot of times this shit happen. Every time you go out, like, no, fuck this shit.
And were there any specific methods you tried to attempt to quit in the past before the final time?
Nah, I ain't never even go too deep into it. I got real high that night, and I said, damn, I'm not doing this no more. I fucking around, missed something I was supposed to be at, slept through it, woke up, I was like, damn, this shit retarded. I'm not doing this shit no more. Waked and baked the next morning. Shit.
Did you have any help from a professional of some sort to quit?
Nah, it was all me.
When it came to the final time you quit, did you have any withdrawals?
I don't think so. I think I felt good, actually, when I was quitting. It was a good feeling.
Didn't relapse once in these 4 years?
I hit a blunt maybe a couple times. I hit a blunt. One of my partners passed. I hit a blunt, and I ain't like it. And man, my head hurt instantly. Like, I had an instant headache, and I was just like, and I ain't even like the taste. But probably at that point in time, I probably hadn't smoked in 2 years at that point in time. And shit, I hit a blunt. It was like, you know, smoke one for bro. Hit it one time. I was like, yeah, this ain't even for me no more.
Did you have any kind of support system while you were quitting this, the final time?
None. No support system. I had everybody in my face trying to pass me blunts.
Did people tease or shame you for quitting?
Nah. I ain't going for it.
Now, what have you noticed health-wise, mentally or physically since you quit in these 4 years?
I feel like not smoking weed made me feel cleaner. Like, it made me, that's what I feel like. But then again, you know, that can all be in your head, but ain't that what's important anyway? What's in your head, that be giving you them placebo pills to really trick you into feeling like you feel better? Like, that's the important part. How you feel is how you living.
When it came to the music side of things, would you create or record under the influence of marijuana?
I used to, because I used to do everything under the influence of marijuana.
What have you noticed music-wise since you quit?
I mean, I made the best music in my life. You know, I really wasn't even just making music like that, though, when I was smoking. I wasn't really just making a lot of music. But shit, when I stopped smoking, that's when I really got focused. I decided to get focused on things. You know, that's when I really had that drive and had that time, and, you know, really had that. I could really focus and really do shit. So I think I say that it had a really a positive effect on me.
What's been your biggest song so far in your music collection, your catalog?
My first song, Outside. My first single, first one.
And was that created or recorded under the influence of marijuana at all?
Nah, none of that.
Because your biggest song was created marijuana-free, did that encourage you to continue to quit that habit Quit that addiction, I should say?
Oh yeah. See, by the time I made that, I was over the weed already. Like by the time I made that, I was already on that stage where there ain't no doubt in my mind I'm never smoking again. I had already got there.
Winding down the questions here, what did this entire experience teach you, this addiction to marijuana? What did you learn from this experience, if anything?
Shit, you know, in my mind at the time, it's like if I could beat that, I could beat anything. Shit, you know, if I, you know, that was something that was kind of acting like a crutch. It was like, you know, a lot of people, and I see a lot of my people today. You know, we feel like we need weed. Niggas ain't got niggas, and a nigga be on his last $20 and go get some weed. A nigga be on his last $20. I see it all the time. A nigga will be on his last $20 and go get some weed. And that shit, you know, looking back, like, that shit retarded. That shit don't even sound, that shit sound retarded. But niggas doing that every day. Niggas is doing that every day.
If you could turn back the hands of time, would you have done anything different in this scenario, this situation?
Well, you know, probably not, because shit, you know, trials and tribulations make you who you are. So, you know, I love everything. You know, everything happened the way it was supposed to happen.
What do you wish you knew before you became addicted to marijuana?
I knew what I was doing. I mean, you know, I knew what I was getting myself into. So.
Respectfully asking you this here, was your parent a marijuana user?
Nah, not my immediate parents, nah.
Also respectfully asking here, does addiction run in your family by any chance?
For sure. For sure. A little bit of everything, a lot of everything.
On your mother's side, father's side, both?
Both.
What do you want people watching this interview to know about those addicted to marijuana?
You know, it ain't that bad. I say, you know, it's better than some of the other addictions that, you know, that I've experienced, you know, that growing up, that I've seen, so.
Now, circumstances could be different for everyone, so generally speaking here, but let's say somebody's watching this interview and they're trying to quit their addiction to marijuana. They've already made that point made. Anything you would say to them?
What I said to myself, one day at a time. You know, everything, one day at a time. Once you can go 1 day, you can go 2 days. And once you go 2 days, double up 4 days. You know, one day at a time, and next thing you know, you shook the shit.
Anything else you want to mention about an addiction to marijuana or question you weren't asked about it, people want to know?
Nah, I think we gave it to them.
Since your addiction to marijuana in the past, what's your opinion on marijuana now?
I think it's cool. If that's what you like to do, that's what you like to do.
And has quitting your addiction to marijuana inspired any others around you to do the same, perhaps?
Possibly. Like, I got a few. I'm actually, like, thinking about it. I got a couple of partners that me stopping probably, you know, help them see it, help them stop.
But that's an assumption. You don't know for sure.
That's an assumption. I don't know for sure,
Anything else on the subject of marijuana while we're at it?
Mm-mm.
And speaking of the studio, is that a studio rule for you? Because you are not a marijuana smoker, people that may want to still indulge in that?
No, I let you do your thing. You know, I don't really just too much trip on the secondhand smoke. You know, it's always people, you know, I'm around it a lot regardless. It's always, you know. In the industry I'm in, you know, shit, that's just kind of that's what people do, so I'm used to it.
But even in your own personal studio sessions, you don't outlaw that?
Nah, I don't outlaw it.